Now, where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
Still living there?
Yes, I am.
Certain part you represent?
North side, North Pole.
Now, what was it like for you growing up in Chicago? Can you paint that picture for us?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as, everybody else's experiences, because, we lived on the north side and I lived in the suburbs, so it wasn't that bad versus, the people that live in the city, like out south and out west and stuff.
So people more in the poverty areas?
Yeah.
More in the hood areas?
Yeah, that part, yeah.
They have it rough?
Yeah.
So gang activity, gang violence, that doesn't happen in the suburbs?
No, it happens it all depends on like the type of crowd you hang out with. If you hang out with, the cool mellow people, you're not gonna get into that type of stuff. But if you hang out with the gangbangers and all the extra shit, you're gonna get into that type of shit. It's all about like who you hang out with and who you associate yourself with.
Mm. Did you see this stuff growing up though? Did you see this gang activity and gang violence growing up?
Everywhere, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Even by the way we talk, the language, everywhere. It's everywhere.
Is it as bad as it's shown to be in the media?
It's not sugarcoated. It's bad. It's real bad. It's bad. Some of the news don't show half of the stuff that really be happening, but it's bad.
What's one thing that's happening that's not really talked about in the media? What would be an example of that?
Man, all the unsolved murders. They're not solving any murders. People are getting killed, and it's just it. No murders being solved.
I see. When you were growing up, did you ever have thoughts on joining a gang? Did that look cool to you, or were you able to avoid it?
Yeah, I was able to avoid it. That never really got into my head because, like I said, I always, occupy myself with, producing and just, staying in the music. The music kept me away from like that super street life.
Because people can, even if they're not a part of it, they can see some type of allure towards it or coolness towards it or, those type of things.
No, of course, yeah. You get the clout, you get the pussy. Depending how you move, you could get some money off of it. So yeah, it's a lot of a lot of rewards. If you want to get into that type of lifestyle, you feel me?
Can one grow up in Chicago without having to join a gang?
Yeah. I grew up in Chicago without having to join a gang, so yeah, it's possible, of course. But then again, like I said, it all breaks down to what area you live in, and the circumstances of that area. Because, you are the product of your environment.
Did you have friends that were in gangs?
Oh, man, yeah, all that. Lost homies, friends, still gangbanging, you feel me? So, yeah, it's never stopping.
Did they ever try to get you to hang with them and recruit you, or did they get you to try to join, that type of thing?
Nah, but people, people respect, what you got going on. If you tell them, you're not into that type of, flavor, that type of sauce, they're going to leave it alone, you feel me? So, yeah.
But you can still be friends with them?
You can still be friends with them, yeah. Just make sure, when they finna go do what they going to do, you take your ass to the crib, you feel me?
What about parenting? Do you think your parents, as you grew up, were able to get you to not go that route? Did they, instill that into, were they, I don't know if they were strict upbringing for you or what, but were they tight on making sure you wouldn't, get caught up in that type of lifestyle?
I would say so, because both of my parents, they were still together. I don't know if that was a factor that played a role in my life of me not joining the gang, but both of my parents are still together, and I think that did play a factor, a role, because some of the kids in the city, they live with grandma, they live with they live with mom, they don't have no father figure in their life to guide them. So yeah.
You had a two-parent household.
Two-parent household, yeah.
Sounds like you had it sweet growing up.
It was all right. It wasn't rough. I don't think it was rough. I managed, so it wasn't that rough for me.
There might be some people watching this that aren't having the best life in Chicago.
Yeah.
They're having a tough time. They're in a rough area.
Yeah.
They might not be gang banging or part of the gang culture, but they might be living in poverty right now. And watching, this interview, hearing your description of growing up, I just sound like paradise.
It does sound like a little paradise, but like I said, it's different circumstances for different people. You know, I had different circumstances living and growing up. You know, my peoples, they was not with none of that, you know, staying out south, out west. They slid straight to the, you know, suburbs, because, you know, we're foreign. Straight to the suburbs, you know, straight to, you know, was strict on the education, all that other stuff. You know, like I said, I didn't grow up with grandma. I grew up with both parents in the household, so it's all about the environment you grow up in.
As a kid, did you get into trouble?
Yeah, suspended, a lot of shit, a lot of. I was bad. I was real bad. That's the one thing about me. Even though, you know, I had, like, you know, a good upbringing, but that good upbringing brought that, you know, little rebellion inside me where, you know, fuck this shit, you know, and just, you know, act out. So yeah, I was a badass kid.
Never expelled though, just suspended.
Never expelled. Close to expulsion, but never expelled.
For what?
Man,
Sound like you were an angel.
Man, I don't know how the story happened, but they found a knife. They found a knife in my backpack.
A weapon?
A weapon, yeah. They found a knife in my backpack, and yeah, they was trying to expel me for that shit.
Were you trying to protect yourself with that, or?
No, I think I was using the knife to cut something in, like, I think one of my wood shop classes in school or something like that, and I don't think I put it back, and I forgot it, because, you know, I forget a lot of shit. Forgot it, and then
Kids
boom.
can be forgetful.
Yeah. Forget a lot of shit, and I forgot it, and then, yeah, the security called me with it, and they tried to expel me, but, you know.
Like what, in like a metal detector or something, or?
One of the kids tipped them off.
Snitched.
Snitched, basically, yeah. That's why we don't do the snitching shit. One of the kids snitched and tipped them off, and yeah, they searched the bag, and yeah.
Now, when it came to school, you did sound like a troublemaker, but would you say, generally speaking, that was the best way to describe you as a kid in school, a troublemaker, or if not, how would you describe yourself?
I was a troublemaker to the teachers, a hero to some of the kids. You know, all the girls liked me. I was just like a little bit of everything to, like, you know, different, you know, people.
You did produce while you were in school?
The producing started when I graduated high school.
Oh.
When I turned 18, that's when it started. Because I just sat there and I'm like, you know what, I'm graduating high school, I'm going to college. I don't want to work a 9 to 5, and, you know, I have a passion with this music, so you know what, I'm gonna buy my equipment and just, you know, start grinding. And then I started grinding from there.
So producing first, then rapping after.
Producing first, then rapping after. And it's kind of funny how it transpired, because I had this sketchbook that I used to draw, because my OG used to buy me a whole bunch of sketchbooks, because, you know, I used to love drawing. I would finish a whole bunch of sketchbooks, and I had this one particular sketchbook that I had. I drew in it, and then the last page that you could draw in it, I started writing my first raps, and then that's how it started.
Usually when it's a producer first and then a rapper after, it's usually maybe somebody demoing their beats. Maybe, you know, you writing a hook to a beat that you created, maybe a way to sell the beat quicker, or maybe to sell the song.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like that for you, or was it like aspirations to really rap?
No, it was aspirations to really rap, and plus I felt like, you know, the type of beats that I was making fit my, you know, my dark lyrics and my dark, you know, type of, you know, rap style. So, you know, I feel like I was the only one that could capture that, and no other producer could do it. So I'm like, you know what, let me just mold this sound into, you know, my own custom sound. And, like, until this day, I don't think I've heard anybody that really has, like, you know, my type of, you know, sound.
So you graduate high school.
Mm-hmm.
And you start college and then buy the equipment, or are you buying equipment in between the transition from high school to college?
I'm buying the equipment after when I start college, during, you know, when I'm actually attending college.
Oh.
Because, you know, I went to went to college. I met up with a couple people that actually produced, and and that got me re back into it, and and that got me jump started back, and then I just never stopped from there.
Did you do anything musically even before college? Like, were you part of the band? Were you in chorus? Were you doing any musical classes leading up to you actually buying equipment and doing the producing thing in college?
No, nothing. All I really did was just like listen to music. I had a good ear for music. Like, I knew what sounded good and what didn't sound good. So that I could say that it's all about the ear that I had.
How long were you thinking about buying this equipment for? Was it spontaneous? Was it premeditated?
No, it wasn't. I actually got on the computer, and YouTube is like the biggest help that anybody could have as a producer. I got on YouTube and I started like researching, good equipments that I could start off with, because I actually got inspired by Arab music, and he was going crazy with his beats. I'm like, you know what? I want to like, hit the drum pads like him and shit like that. So I researched what he was using. It was an MPC 500, and I Googled it, and I found, a decent, one for a used one actually for a decent price, and I went and brought it. And like I said, it was history from there. But a little story about that also. I ended up ditching the MPC 500 and because it got too complicated with the hardware. Started using software, and I found this magic software called Fruity Loop, FL Studios, and I've been going crazy ever since.
Now, sometimes when people get this stuff, before I even ask you this part, let me backtrack, because you really didn't tell me if it was spontaneous or you really thought about getting this equipment for a while before you actually did.
I thought about getting it for a while. Actually,
you did?
I had dreams about it. I
okay.
had a couple of dreams about me playing with it and like touching the knobs and shit. So I just felt it in my mouth where, I had to get it. It was mouth watering. So
if you got this in college, when did the first thought of buying equipment actually happen? You actually purchased it in college, but did you have these thoughts, let's say 10th grade? Did you have these thoughts when high school started?
To be honest with you, I had the musical. I always told myself when I was little, that I was gonna do music, but like I never knew that I was gonna actually really do music for real. But it all started off when I was a kid, and it built it up until like the point where I was 18, I was able to grab the shit.
You didn't have any musical buddies that were already producing? Like you could go to their house and kind of see what they were doing and kind of like, I don't want to say an apprentice or intern, but you have a bird's eye view.
Yeah, that all happened when I brought the equipment. It's crazy. Like, when I brought the equipment, it just attracted a whole bunch of, musical people around me. And it was a couple people I kicked it with that, we were, making beats and collabing and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So this leads me back to the original question I was going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, when they get equipment, you said you had gotten the hardware and you kind of had a situation where you ended up getting software, and then the story takes off from there. But there's some people, they see this stuff on YouTube, they see an inspiration for you as Arab music. They get the stuff, it's harder than it looks. It's not what they thought it was going to be. There's obstacles they can't go past, and they want to quit. Why did I buy this equipment? This was a bad idea. I'm stopping, I'm done. Was that how it was for you?
Yes.
Or did you have an instant love and just...
No. You said it perfect. That was exactly what happened to me. I brought the MPC. I started I plugged it in. I loaded everything, the samples, and I started playing it, and I'm like, shit, it doesn't sound like, what he's making. And I just kept doing it for days into turned into weeks. And then it kind of turned to a couple months until I'm like, you know what? Like, I kind of don't want to do this shit no more because I'm not getting the hang of this MPC. Like, the hardware is just too hard to program. So I stopped using the MPC and just let it collect dust for I think maybe 3 months. And then I was able to buy me a Sony Vaio computer when it first came out. I brought me a laptop, a Sony Vaio, and then I illegally, took the FL Studio and put it on there, and then from that on, it had a virtual, MPC on it and all that. It was gold after that. software is key. I like the software better than the hardware.
So you had the bootleg version of the software.
Yeah, the bootleg version. Cause the real version, like, it was kind of pricey at the time, and and I just graduated, and it's like, I'm not gonna like, and I'm working and I'm only getting like a little $300 check from McDonald's. I'm not gonna like fork my, half of my paycheck to go pay for like the program and like sit there and play with it, cause I knew how I failed before with the MPC, so I didn't want to gamble it, so I had to go with the free route, man. Mm-hmm.
Were you able to do everything on? Because some bootleg programs are better than others. Some bootleg programs you can do everything you're supposed to. Some bootleg programs you might not be able to do a certain, I don't know, a certain button or a certain plug-in maybe. I don't know.
Man, it's all about.
Did you have the good bootleg where you could?
I had the good bootleg. Cause I was kind of computer savvy too. Like I knew about like how to do certain stuff with the programs and get certain shit for free because I never wanted to pay for shit. So yeah, I had the good copy of the bootleg version. Don't tell them though.
Okay, so you're doing all this in college. Why didn't you give up after the hardware completely? After it didn't work out, why didn't you just say, I'm done with producing, period. Let's go back to the books and figure something else out. What kept you wanting to even try to further, at least with the software, and give it another shot?
Because I saw the producer homies that I linked up with, and I saw how they were going crazy on the software, and I'm like, nah, bro. If you're doing this on the software, there's no reason why I can't fucking do this shit too. So that was my motivation. It was basically like a competition. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna let these motherfuckers, get a one up on me. You feel me? I'm gonna, do this shit too. So yeah, that was my motivation.
Did you finish college?
No, I didn't.
You dropped out. Explain. What freshman, sophomore, junior? When did you stop?
I stopped the second year because it's just life shit. You just had to work, I wasn't living at the house at the time. I was living on my own, so I had to grind it, to make rent. So and going to school like during the day or like in the morning and then going to work was just too much. And then on top of that, I didn't have any time to like produce or make any type of music. So it's like, nah, fuck that, bro. I'm leaving the school. And I also put in my head that I'll always come back to the schooling, but I never end up doing it.
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
You never know. You could be one of those 70-year-old guys that has nothing else left to do.
But
hey, let me go finish up and get a degree just because. I don't know.
Degree. Funny thing is, like, I did kind of, give it a crack, but I actually try to go to a trade school. So like it wasn't the traditional, college that I left, but like, yeah, I tried to go to a trade school after that. That didn't work out because I didn't want to work a 9 to 5. So came back to the music. The music never leaves me.
What college did you attend?
I went to Coin for the trade school. Coin, which is it's in downtown Chicago.
No, but the college first that you attended.
Oh, the college. I went to a community college in in the burbs.
Okay. And did you go right to college after high school, or did you take some sort of a break before you started?
I'm trying to remember if I did. I think I went there right away because my peoples, they was not having that shit. There was none of that, you could take a year off and come back. Nah, as soon as you graduate high school, you better take your ass to college.
No scholarship, no athletic, no academic scholarship?
Nah.
Financial aid?
Financial aid, yeah.
No grants? FAFSA?
Yeah, all that, all that free shit. I told you I'm the master of the free shit, all the free shit.
But you did have to pay out of pocket?
Yeah, towards the end a little bit, but not too much though.
Oh, okay.
So I know how to talk.
So you had mostly a free ride?
Yeah, mostly a free ride, yeah. I didn't really too much stress like throughout my the years that I was going, that I did the college thing. I didn't really too much stress, but it got critical when, I had to, work to like, to maintain my living and everything like that, so.
So the finances got in the way.
If it wasn't for the finances, I think I would have stayed and probably got an associate's degree, or I probably would have got like a higher, like a master's or something like that, and something. Cause I like learning.
Why that community college? Why'd you go there?
Because I've seen a lot of people go to the big universities and come right back and just fail. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just do a community college first. And if I want to, fuck with a university, then I'll, slide and do that.
What was your thought on a major?
On a major,
Did you have one in mind? You still were, you hadn't even reached the associate's degree status yet before you actually major into something.
Right.
But was there something you were leaning towards if you would have kept going?
Yeah, it's crazy. It was. I actually wanted to be like a scientist. A scientist. I was really into science, and I wanted to get into physics because I always had this like dream of like building the first car that levitated off of the ground with magnets and everything like that.
Oh, wow.
I, as a kid, I started studying like, magnetism and like everything with magnets and like how they, repel and like, the positive and negative energies and everything like that. So yeah, I wanted to be a scientist and be the first, guy to develop a car that just hovers off the ground so we don't have to, use gas anymore. But that didn't turn out how I wanted it to turn out.
That's a tough, physics is tough.
It is, and you know why the main thing why I didn't go for it, because physics, it requires a lot of fucking math, and I'm not good at math. I'm like good at like the regular math, but like all that algebra and like trigonometry and shit like that, like I suck at that shit. So that shit scared me, and I'm like, you know what, I'm good.
So you quit community college. You're working, you're doing the music thing, you try to do the trade school thing.
Yeah.
Is that because your parents tried to get you to go back? Is that?
No,
or was
well,
that self-motivated?
That actually happened like a little bit further down the line when I was like, mid, like further down the line that happened. Like, but everything else happened in the beginning. But the whole going back to school to the trade school, that was in later down the line.
When you did quit, what was your parents' thoughts?
I wasn't living with them. I was living by myself, so it was like it was a self decision.
But I'm sure they still have some sort of reaction to it.
They didn't like it, but they understand that if you don't work, you're gonna be homeless, and and school's not gonna do it right now. Eventually school's gonna do it, but not right now. So they kind of understand what I had to do.
Mm. So in the midst of all this, when did the rapping part come in exactly?
The rapping part came in.
Was this after you tried to do this trade school thing? Was this before you tried to do the trade school thing?
The thing about the rapping, it's been around, but like I've always been shy like to rap in front of people, and I've always, rapped to myself until like, one day I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let me just rap in front of, a couple people, and I like pulled my phone out and I like threw on a beat and I rapped this verse that I wrote, and everybody went like ape shit about it, and I'm like, oh shit, they actually like this shit, and then been doing it ever since.
Mm.
Yeah.
But in this timeline that we've kind of made as we were talking in this interview, where did this part of you getting this confidence to do the rapping, where did this kind of fit in with all this stuff going on?
That started
when you had gotten the software, before you got to software, when?
No, that came after I quit school, and then maybe two years down the line, I like moved back to like my hometown, and I lived again by myself, and then I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to record, but I don't want to pay for studio time, and there goes that free shit again that I was talking about. So I got on that free shit, and I grabbed me a USB mic from Guitar Center, and I brought me this old program called Magic Studio, plugged it in. I had a closet space. I took all my clothes out the closet space and threw the mic in there and just started recording from there. It was shitty quality, but that shitty quality, told me what I had to do to like, to get my shit right, and now we're here.
Which do you like better doing more, producing or rapping?
Producing, because the rapping, you gotta think of catchy shit. It's just a lot of it's a lot of thought that goes into the rapping for me, because like I want the words to impact. I want the lyrics to like go into people's heads. So it's more the producing. I just light a blunt and just fucking Crayola crayon with the shit and just paint. Reading Rainbow, just paint. I swear to God, it's magic to me.
That's what you personally like, but what do people think? Do they like your beats better than your raps? Do they like your raps better than your beats?
It's mixed. It's I have half that like the beats, I have half that like the rap, and I have the middle that like both. As me is like, you know, a whole package. So it's not just like one side. It's like three sides. There's a left, a right, and there's a neutral side that likes everything.
Is that a conflict? Like, are you spreading yourself too thin? Why not just concentrate in producing, forget about rap, or concentrating rap and forget about producing?
Because I feel like I have too much to say for me just to sit there and just produce. And then also with the rapping, I have too much creativity in my fingers for me just to sit there and just rap. I don't like to call myself like a rapper, producer. I feel like I'm just a musician. Like I'm all around like a musician. Like I just make music. That's how I feel.
No one's ever pulled you to the side and said, hey man, forget this rap stuff.
No.
Just concentrate on producing.
Nope. Encouragement. They tell me keep going. Tell me keep going. No, I never had nobody tell me to stop.